Good morning. Oh my God.
Uh-oh. That's dangerous territory.
I know, really.
Good morning. Erin, what are you drinking in that tall can?
Double shot energy, Starbucks.
Wow, you're going for it.
I know, and it's a short meeting. It's kind of silly.
I was going to say, on a potentially short meeting, I mean, we have to wait and see how long Doug's going to talk about things. So,
you know what? It's my council meeting drink. So, I have my little traditions that.
It should be quad shot or go home.
Yeah.
I am home and I'm drinking water.
Actually, I think it's in our procedures that you're not allowed to have coffee during the meeting.
Oh, great.
Nothing with caffeine.
Yeah.
It's just water with brown stuff added to it.
Yeah.
Shots of brown stuff.
That's allowed.
We got about 1 minute. We're missing Doug. Do we have a quorum with 3 if he actually doesn't show up? Chrissy? Do we have a quorum with 3 if he's here.
Yes.
There he is.
Is a quorum.
Okay. Doug, you're scaring me.
Sorry, I had to go get something.
Now I'll have to get the rules on the tie vote. Get that out handy if Doug wasn't here.
Okay, are we live, Katrina?
Yeah, it looks like it. I was just trying to turn off the chat because we have to turn the chat off every time. And usually Larry does it, so I'm not seeing where to do it.
We could still have a tied vote, 2-2. I mean, that's the tied vote, 4 of us.
I'm not sure. I meant that opposite, I think. I need to have my tie rules handy.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and start. I wasn't able to turn the chat off like she normally does. It didn't look the way she said it was. So anyways, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Well, everybody, welcome to the regular City of Nevada City Council meeting, Wednesday, October 28th, 2020. This City Council meeting convenes on the ancestral territories of the Nevada City Rancheria and Nisenan tribe, and we support the restoration of their federal recognition. Okay. And right now, I am calling this meeting to order. And Katrina, would you do roll call, please?
Mayor Minette.
Here.
Vice Mayor Strausser.
Here.
Councilmember Fleming.
Here.
Councilmember Fernandez.
Here.
Thank you. And now we will do the Pledge of Allegiance. If you will all join me. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Hey guys, we have no presentations tonight, so we're going to move to business from the floor, and this is the time for public comment. Katrina?
Okay. All right, this comes from Ken Page, the owner of Friar Tuck's. It just says Miss Olson, but this was to all council as well. Thank you. Hold on. Here, I'm at the wrong place. For council, I want to thank you all sincerely for making the right decision to allow us outdoor dining through the winter. I believe this challenging time may be bringing a new facelift for the future of Nevada City. Cool outdoor dining and shops may the new Nevada City for years to come. This is all I hear right from our community. Let's see. Then we have one from Kika Kane, and this is a request. It says, thank you. Oh, I called this woman back because she has a request. A number of Nevada City residents and I asked the City Council to recognize Paul Emery's contributions to the community on the 50th anniversary of his first production in the spring of 2021 by proclaiming an official day in the name. Doing so now would allow time to plan a celebration. Okay, this one, I'm just gonna say, be patient with me. It's gonna be a little bit tough. It's long, and I'm just waiting for my new glasses or for real glasses to come in, and I can hardly see what I'm reading, so I'm gonna do my best. Nevada City has okay, this comes from Marina Bernheimer. Nevada City has the dubious distinction of inclusion in a recently released Amnesty International report filed USA lodging the Peace US Police features to protect protesters from violence. Amnesty International is widely recognized and respected as a global and nonprofit human rights organization. The reason our little town caught the attention of a worldwide organization like Amnesty International is because of the events on August 9th when a group of peaceful racial justice protesters as well as bystanders were violently attacked and harassed for a prolonged period of time while police officers from NCPD took virtually no action to disseminate much. Okay, I'm going to pause on this and I'm going to give it to Brian. It's so small, I cannot see it very well. So hold on just a second. Is Brian, are you on? Sorry.
She needs those glasses.
I am sorry. I'm hoping by Friday these new glasses come in because I am struggling really hard right now with my eyes.
You're muted, Brian.
Okay. The reason our little town caught the attention of a worldwide organization like Amnesty International is because of the events on August 9th when a group of peaceful racial justice protesters as well as bystanders were violently attacked and harassed for a prolonged period of time while police officers from Nevada City Police Department took virtually no action to de-escalate, much less to arrest the aggressors, as evidenced by dozens of hours of police body cam footage. Chad Ellis himself publicly stated after viewing the body cam footage that it was clear that one side was responsible for the violence and aggression at the protest. The body cam clearly shows people approaching the police over and over again, asking for protection from violence, and the officers doing nothing in response. People were being spit on, screamed at, threatened, punched. Chad Ellis's public statement said that the violence against peaceful people will not be tolerated, but it was tolerated on his watch by our police department. The event was so egregious that it was widely reported in the media and has now been documented in Amnesty International's report on the documented pattern of police inaction to protect peaceful protesters from violence. Surely this is not the type of press that Nevada City wants from an internationally known entity. As a 20-year resident of Nevada City, I'm dismayed that Amnesty International appears to be more aware of the harmful significance of this police inaction than the City Council does. I'm dismayed that the City Council has not taken a more transparent and active role in addressing the very real concerns of your citizens that our police department failed in its most basic duty to protect peaceful citizens from violence on a Sunday afternoon on Broad Street in broad daylight. If the city council believes that the incident and its implications are significant, we wouldn't know it from the outside. Other than the single special meeting, it has not been discussed publicly by the council. When the issue was brought up at a recent council meeting by Daniela Fernandez, she was silenced. It is understood that the personnel issues cannot be publicly discussed, but there are many aspects of this that are not related to personnel, and none of them are being discussed or acknowledged in any way. Since the one special meeting, we have not seen this topic on city council agenda for discussion. The city council has not announced what reforms are being explored to ensure that police are trained in de-escalation and bias reduction. What consequences will there be for violent aggressors at the next peaceful event? How will the safety of peaceful citizens be ensured? Will a citizen police review board be established? The resulting breach in trust between this community and Nevada City Police Department is a deep wound. In order to move forward, it is critical that Nevada City Police Department be held accountable in a transparent and meaningful ways. It is critical that the department and or city council offer concrete, transparent, measurable solutions moving forward to ensure the community that the Nevada City Police Department are capable of keeping us safe. How will you ensure this does not happen again? Where is the dialogue and discussion and action around this critical community issue? I eagerly await your response. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Aaron, that's the end of public comment. Let me check the Gmail account and see if there's anything else that came in. Nope, we're set to go.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, now council members requested item, committee reports, and future agenda items. Dwayne.
Nothing specific. Last Thursday, we had the ERC executive committee meeting. I was down at the state capitol and tried to follow them via my phone while I was at the capitol doing that meeting and was not able to get connected. I emailed a few times, but I'll be calling probably Lisa Swarthout tomorrow and getting an update. I don't think anything critical would happen, but I'll find out and then pass it on to you guys if there is. The only other thing we had was the League of California Cities, but we had agreed not to vote positively on that one measure. And so basically I sat through a lot of information via online and then abstained from the vote. So that's about it for me.
Great, thank you. Daniela?
I have nothing to report. Thank you.
Thank you. Doug?
You know, I could give you an update on the tree stuff. I think everybody sort of knows where that is. So I'll just move it on. If anybody wants to know specifically, I can give you an update later, but I think we all sort of know what's going on there.
Okay, thank you. And I have nothing either.
Aaron,
What?
I did forget something at the transportation committee meeting last week, I believe on Zoom, the most recent, Dan Landon did announce his retirement in a positive way. He's been, he was going to be around another year or two, but it's time for him to go, and they found a house out of state near their grandchildren, so he's given notice. They are going through the process now of looking for candidates, including both inside as well as outside, and we'll have a new director at least named probably by next month, by November, although Dan is still staying around to the end of the year just to help transition. So just a heads up. So transportation, because that does affect our affordable housing project and some other things, they're the ones that we interact with on the roundabout and the traffic study, so they are critical. But they're a great group, and even without Dan, I trust that the replacement will be every bit as good as he is.
Great, thank you. And actually, as you said that, I realized I had it written right here. I also want to thank Waste Management for the trash pickup this weekend at Pioneer Park and the green waste pickup. All seemed to go very smoothly, and I hope a lot of people got their leaves raked up and out of their yard. And that's it for me. Okay. Consent items. All matters listed under the consent calendar are to be considered routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless before the city council votes on a motion to adopt, members of the council, city staff, or public requests items to be removed from the consent agenda for separate discussion and action. The items tonight are A, fire activity report, B, the second reading and adoption of an ordinance of Nevada City of Nevada City amending section 16.04.370, section 16.04.480 to update the city's subdivision ordinance pertaining to term limits of tentative maps in compliance with the state Subdivision Map Act. Okay, and C, second reading and adoption of ordinance 2020-20, an ordinance of the City of Nevada City repealing and reenacting chapter 13.08 of the Nevada City Municipal Code regarding regulating the city sewer system. D, the action minutes from October 14th, 2020, regular city council meeting. Katrina, is there anybody from the public that wants to pull any of these items? No. Is there anybody on council who wants to pull any of these items?
Not me.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve consent items A, B, C, and D as listed.
Seconded.
Katrina, roll call?
Councilmember Fleming,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernandez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Strasser,
Yes.
Mayor Minette.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, now we're moving on to department requested action items and updated reports. We have an update on the city council's 6-month strategic objectives. Katrina?
So we had our strategic planning in February. Typically, we would do, we do one every 6 months. I've updated the grid. We have basically completed everything we possibly could that it was not reliant upon maybe, meetings that we need to have with residential, neighborhoods, or a lot of it is funding related. So many of those things have been put on hold because of COVID and the financial status of the city being unknown. And again, that's all outlined in the grid. I did talk to Marilyn again, and it was decided, you guys thought it would be best to hold off on having a strategic planning until we seated a new council member. So I'm typically election results are certified within a few weeks of the election. So I'm thinking by the end of November, we'll know, we'll have certified results of the new council member that'll be seated. And I'm gathering that we would seat that person in December as long as all goes as planned. I'm talking to Marilyn. There's she is versed in Zoom at this point and has held several strategic planning sessions, large and small, with Zoom. And so she is able to do that. She is going to be experiencing some business changes as Michelle Snyder, who typically does the transcription for the meeting and participates, will be resigning from the business. And Marilyn is in search of somebody new to fill that role. But she would love to have a strategic planning session via Zoom in December. She thought that would be good, as we would have a new council member seated at that point, and to get a strategic plan out there for us for going into the new year. I tend to concur with what she's saying. I know December is a really busy time. because of the holidays. However, based on the way our strategic plan is set right now, my thoughts are that we're going to have a very, very different looking strategic plan when we come out of this. And I think the sooner that we have something in front of us to help guide us, that would be great. But it is definitely up to the council members as to what will work for your schedules.
Okay, well, I'm gonna talk first on this. I think it's, since we didn't have one, and we're gonna be coming up on a year, and we will have a new council member. We have 2 other new council members. I think starting the new year, it would be a really good idea for us to do this in December, if we can schedule it. Just for us to all come together and have a place to move from. So that is my input on this. Dwayne?
I would agree. That way we'll know who is seated coming in. That'll give us a chance to maybe deal with them just before strategic planning to see what their interests are as far as, different committees, that type of thing. I know that we've been getting pushed a little bit for the IT committee to do a couple of improvements. We're going to be talking, but we've been getting pushed for signage. So regardless of COVID, we can't keep putting some of these things off. They're not critical, but there are things we need to get back on the table. So I think that would be a great kickstart. If we can pull it off December or January, either way, I'll make it work.
Daniela?
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm anxious to learn more and understand more about the next year. And I'm excited to have our new member. I think it's perfect timing. And I really like and appreciate the Zoom option. That's fantastic. So yeah.
Doug?
Oh yeah, we need to reprioritize and figure out where we're going with new a new focus, I guess. Yeah, like Katrina said, everything's going to change. So I think this is a great idea. I think we need to do it in December, if at all possible. The sooner the better. Yeah.
Is there any one particular day of the week, like a Monday through Friday, that works better for all of you? Because then I can poke around with Marilyn and see what she has available.
Personally, Monday or Friday for me. Oh,
yeah, Thursdays are my tough days. Every other day I can make work easily. If you do Thursday, I'll figure it out, but that's my tough day.
I'm flexible, preferably not on a Monday, but if it happens, that's okay. Now that I'm not working with Connecting Point, I have much more flexibility in my schedule. But also the first week of December will not be an option for me.
That's okay, because we won't seat the new council member. I think the meeting's on the 9th, so it would be after that.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm good any day. Just let me know.
And Aaron, what was yours?
Either Monday or Friday.
Okay. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to leave out, I'll try and leave Monday and Thursday off the table. I'll try and shoot for a Friday or maybe a Wednesday.
Oh, I can do Wednesday too, actually.
Okay, let me try and shoot for a Friday or a Wednesday, and I'll get back to you guys via email in the next week.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Katrina.
Thank you. Okay. Whoops. Sorry, guys. Okay. Now we're moving on to old business. Subject A is Resolution 2020-20 of the City Council of Nevada City authorizing the application for a permanent local housing allocation program, non-entitlement local government competitive component.
Okay, we also have Gus Becerra here from he's one of the developers. He's from RHA. We've got Lori here from CCHC, and then also Chris Westlake's here. I'm going to introduce this and then let them tell you where we're at with the Cashins Field project and funding. So I'll introduce this this item. It is a resolution in support of an application for some different funding for the project. The Department of Housing and Community Development has been authorized to provide $15 million to cities and counties from SB2, Permanent Local Housing Allocation Program, competitive component, from the Building Homes and Jobs Trust Fund for affordable housing projects. HCD issued a notification of funding availability dated at August 31st, 2020 under the PLHA program. The City of Nevada City is an eligible non-entitlement local government who has applied to for program funds to administer to an eligible activity. The resolution would authorize the Regional Housing Authority and the Central California Housing Corporation to submit an application on behalf of the city to be provided back to RHA and CCHC for Cashin's Field Affordable Housing Project. If the city was awarded a grant of PLHA funds from the department pursuant to the above referenced PLHA competitive component, NOFA, it certifies that the city will use all such funds in a manner consistent and compliant with all applicable state and federal statutes, rules, regulations, and laws, including without limitation, all rules and laws regarding the PLHA program, as well as all contracts the city may have with the department. The city agrees that if the funds are awarded for the development of an affordable rental housing development, the local government shall make PLHA assistance in the form of a low interest deferred loan to RHA and CCHC for the Cashin's Field Affordable Housing Project. The loan would be evidenced through a promissory note secured by a deed of trust and a regulatory agreement, shall restrict occupancy and rents in accordance with the department approved underwriting of the project for a term of at least 55 years. On that note, I'll leave Lori and Gus to it to further inform you of where we're at with funding for the project, and then answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Katrina. I appreciate it. Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. You'll have to forgive my informality with the hat I'm wearing, but it's not going to come off for probably a month or two. I
totally get it.
I was born and raised in Los Angeles, and so I bleed blue. And yeah, if you see me in the next month or two, it's not going to come off. So an update. The resolution before you today is for additional funding on the project. And so I think we've mentioned to the council before that there's a lot of factors on why the tax credit application that's still under review at TCAC is not enough to fully fund the project, right? As you know, there's already some commitments from the city, there's some commitments from the county, but there's been some factors such as COVID that have had some economic, swings in the markets that have caused the tax credit equity rates to basically not be as worth as much as they were pre-COVID. So we do have a financial gap. Even if the tax credits are awarded, we have a gap. And hence why we spoke to your city manager and your city attorney to support the sponsorship of this application for some additional funding. And so we'll, with your approval tonight, consideration of this resolution, we'll submit our application. I believe it's due November the 30th. And I'm assuming awards are usually about 3 or 4 months after that. So that's where we are with this application. As far as the tax credit application, Mayor Manette is very aware of what's happening, and I'm sure she's informed everyone else. She was on the call. Thank you so much for your advocacy. We had the county advocating, and in addition to the mayor, we had even the city of Grass Valley was advocating for our project. And of course, Lori and I were on the call as well. And so what happened was they were considering a different project. And that project, we did some research, and that project didn't meet threshold. And so we notified TCAC staff that the project they were recommending did not meet threshold. We did meet threshold. And basically what it was is entitlements, right? So we all know we went through the public outreach process in your community. We went to the planning commission, and we went to your council to get the project approved and fully entitled. This other project was not entitled. They did not go through that process. And in the disaster credits, there was a section in the guidelines that indicated that if your project was inside the CAL FIRE designated fire perimeter, then you can postpone, in essence, your entitlements until June of 2021. Cashin's Field, as you know, was not in the fire perimeter from the disaster fires you had in 2017, and neither was the other project that was competing against us in Grass Valley. And so we were entitled, they were not. We notified TCAC staff at the October 14th committee meeting. They pulled that project and agreed to review our project and bring it back at a future meeting. We're trying to find out when that future meeting is, because per their calendar, they don't have any more TCAC meetings the rest of this calendar year. But there are some other meetings that they can potentially piggyback on. And so I think, Lori, they told you potentially November 18th, right?
Yes, that's correct. We're still trying to get confirmation, but that is correct, Gus.
Right. So hopefully it's November 18th. And if it is, we'll inform all of you. And hopefully we have a positive outcome, but we're not there yet. And so that's where we are with financing. Lori, is there anything else you wanted to add to it?
Yeah, I don't think so, Gus. I think you did a great job. If there's any questions, we are both available here to answer. And we also have Chris Westlake, who is our consultant, who will be helping to prepare the PLHA application. So if you have any detailed questions regarding the application or the funds or anything like that, Chris is available to answer those as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Could we check for public comment before we ask our questions?
Yes. So Katrina, is there any public comment for this? Katrina?
No,
Okay.
I'm having to flip between screens, so just give me a
Okay.
minute. Yeah. No comments.
Okay. I'd actually like to ask one question. Is this, how much of a delay does this put on the project being built?
Good question. If in fact it is November 18th, then we're looking at a 1 month delay, right? Because if the previous meeting was October 14th, and for any project that was awarded October 14th, they put you on basically a 6 month clock to close your construction financing. So all those projects that were awarded October 14th have through, what would that be, mid-April to close.
Okay.
And so if we are on their agenda for November 18th, then we would be looking at roughly about a mid-May closing of our financing. So if we are in fact on their agenda November 18th, we're looking at really only about a 1 month delay. So not too bad.
I just also want to state from the meeting I was at with you guys, you know, my feeling was that even Grass Valley was kind of saying, hey, Cashin's Field's ready to go. They didn't even know about it. So it was definitely a little confusing why we didn't get it.
We agree with you 100%.
Yeah, so I'm really hoping that that gets turned around, and I am glad to attend the November 18th meeting if you would like me to. So
we'll let you know.
Great. Okay, anybody else? Dwayne?
I'm happy with everything. I mean, obviously we were a little disappointed with the delay, but I'm still positive and that we're going to move through this. So we've got, again, great developers, great staff. And the only other comment I will make is that if and when the Dodgers ever win a full season World Series, I will wear a Dodgers hat on a city council meeting.
Council member, I'm going to hold you to that because we're going back to back.
Okay, Daniela?
Dodgers, that's basketball, right?
No, that's baseball.
Just kidding.
Right.
I know
Good one.
basketball.
Good one.
It's hockey.
It's definitely football, right? Okay. So I'm glad you said Dodgers. I just thought it was an LA Pride hat.
I know I'm surrounded by San Francisco Giants fans. I know that. Probably my entire staff are San Francisco Giants fans, but
Okay, enough. I'm just kidding. So you said if you are on the November 18th meeting, is there a chance that you won't be on that agenda? And if that does happen, what next?
Since they did agree to review the project and bring it back to a future meeting, they have to agendize it eventually. And I mean, I'm pretty confident that it will be November 18th, but we're just still waiting for that confirmation. So
I'm pretty confident also.
And if they revisit and they decide for whatever reason, because these are strange times, if they decide for whatever reason that they made the right decision or whatever, what then? Is that something that's being discussed at this point?
It is. Lori and I have discussed a different path towards financing the deal. It still involves the resolution for your consideration tonight. It still involves the commitments that the city and the county already have. Lori, we're waiting. Oh, yeah, we were waiting on the results of the joint county and city application for the trust fund dollars as well. And so if that is approved, we're definitely going to be coming to you for your consideration to commit those dollars to the project. There are other paths. It will make it more difficult if these disaster credits aren't funded, but the deal is not dead. Even if these disaster credits aren't funded, we will still look for another path. Lori, anything you want to add there?
Yeah, I agree. There are multiple paths in the tax credit allocation committee funding program. We're on the 9%. I know you guys always hear that term that we talk about. This is a 9% path. There is another path. It's referred to as the 4% path. It's less equity, but it's usually paired with another source of funding. One of which that Chris, our consultant, also has lots of experience with is multiple housing funding. So it's called MHP. And that's another route that we're looking at. So once we have some kind of clarification in November, which we're, like Gus mentioned, very confident that we would have one way or another, hoping in the positive way, of course, we will make that decision as to what route to go for the next funding application cycle we can get into.
Great. Thank you both for all of your work on this. I'm excited to get everything locked down and ready to move.
You're welcome. Thank you for all your support. It's been great working with you all.
Doug.
Yes, it's great to hear that you guys have multiple paths to make this happen. It's a very important project, and like the rest of the council, I'm a big fan of it happening. I just wanted to know, how much are you applying for under this NOFA? How much money are you asking for under this, and how does that fit into the financial?
Sure. Good question, council member. The resolution doesn't call out for that number, but we can apply for a maximum of $3 million. Is that correct, Chris?
Yeah, the maximum is 3 million.
Right. And so we're looking at a lot of things that will determine how much we apply for. Construction costs are rising again. They have been rising for quite some time now, but we're seeing lumber costs skyrocket at the moment, mainly due to the fires that were happening north of us, and then just a shortage. There's just such a big shortage of labor, as you all know, and so we're I had a very on another project, I had a call with our general contractor yesterday, and the numbers are definitely trending up again. So we're looking at that. And then, of course, we're looking at our current tax credit equity rates. We had a call on that today. And so that will determine how much we apply for. But it's a maximum of 3 million. And yeah, I don't think we've figured it out yet. Have we, Chris or Lori?
No, not yet. We're kind of waiting to see what happens on November 18th to figure out if we're on the 9% or the 4% route right now.
Sure. That makes sense. Yeah, well, thank you. That makes complete sense. Well, best of luck. We're rooting for you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you all for your work. I so much appreciate it and keeping us updated. And I have a really strong feeling that November 18th is going to go in our direction. So just saying. Anyway, so can I get a motion on this resolution?
Sure. Let's see here. Motion to pass resolution 2020 next in order. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Nevada City authorizing the application for the Permanent Local Housing Allocation Program, PLHA, non-entitlement local government competitive component.
Can I get a second? Daniela? You're muted.
Yes, second.
Okay. Roll call, Katrina?
Muted. You're muted. Oh, here, if you're saying Doug? Yes.
Can't hear you, Katrina.
Good morning.
Katrina, you're muted.
I thought you were talking to Doug. Sorry.
Oh, goodness.
Councilmember Fleming,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernandez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Strasser,
Yes.
Mayor Minette.
Yes, passes 4-0. Thank you. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening.
Okay, now we're moving on to new business. And this is a resolution of the City Council of Nevada City. And this is just basically us, resolution for the entire council supporting Measure M. It's just kind of not a big deal, just to make it public that we do support this. Katrina?
Yeah, typically, I kind of took the unanimous vote to put it on the ballot by all the council members is endorsement, but after Bill and I were looking at some old Measure S stuff, there was actually an official resolution of endorsement. So even though we're towards the end of the, end of the trail here before the votes are in, I just still wanted to have something on the books official. Other than that, I just wanted to throw a kudos out to the volunteer committee that has really campaigned hard for Measure M. They've done a great job. Signs have gone out. The committee's been able to talk to some people. A little bit challenging because typically, our campaigns are run door to door, and we didn't have that, ability because of COVID. But we got 2 mailers out. The committee raised a little over $4,000 to run the campaign. We have had multiple interviews. Thank you to Dwayne Strasser for multiple interviews on KVMR and KNCO. Thank you to the mayor who's done several email blasts out to everybody. Thanks to Doug and Daniela for your support, talking to people and putting those signs in your yards. We've done some editorials. Ubinet's posted it. The committee's just done a really excellent job in a strange time to campaign and really getting the message out there. We've had a lot of positive feedback. And again, I just want to thank that volunteer committee that's really, we've met every Thursday, and they've been committed to really getting it out there and getting this thing passed. So thank you to everybody.
Great, thank you. Is there any public comment to this?
No.
Okay, I'll bring it back to the table. Daniela.
I have nothing new to add. Thank you, Katrina, for running down that list of folks who have been involved. I just want to echo the thanks to everyone. I think this is an important measure, and it's important for us to get it locked in permanently so that we can always have that funding. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Doug.
Yes, I echo everything Daniela said, and thank you, Katrina, and everyone else, and to the committee for doing this, because this was a big lift, especially in COVID times. And I think from what I saw, it was a pretty effective campaign. And I'm hopeful, and I think it's a good idea to try it now. And should things not work out, there may be another bite at the apple. So, but I think it's going to work out now, and I think everybody's going to understand the necessity of it. So thank you.
Great. Dwayne?
Ditto, and ditto. Thank you.
And
okay,
I just...
Before you call for the vote, Aaron, I want to publicly say, give thanks to that committee by name. So we had Nancy Bleal on the committee, Rick Ewald on the committee, Neil Locke on the committee, Mike Barber on the committee, Bill Falcone on the committee, Mayor Minette on the committee, Brian McAllister on the committee, myself on the committee. And we had some help from the chamber, from Gretchen and Jesse. And just a reiteration that this was all funded through donation, and all volunteer after hours time, no public funds were expended on this campaign at all.
Wonderful.
Go team.
Yay.
Chrissy, do you want to add anything to that? Nope. Okay. Yeah. So thank everybody who worked on this. It was quite an effort to get everything done, and it's been great getting really great responses from our community. So I'm looking forward to seeing that pass. Okay. So can I get a motion?
I'll try it because Dwayne always does.
Go for it.
I've got to do it.
Throw it at you right now.
Look at you.
I move to approve Resolution 2020 next in order of the City Council of Nevada City supporting Measure M, a ballot measure to continue a 1/2 cent sales tax for city streets, sidewalks, and drainage, and adding water distribution and sewer collection systems.
Good job, Doug.
Can I get a second?
I second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Fleming,
Yes.
Councilmember Fernandez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Strasser,
Absolutely.
Mayor Minette.
You bet. Yes. Okay. Wow, guys. We're on to correspondence. Anything?
No way.
Okay. Announcements. Okay. Actually, our next council meeting is not going to be the second Wednesday because it is a holiday. So it will be on November 18th. Okay. Just so you all know that. And there will also only be one meeting in November because of the holidays. Same goes for December. There is only one meeting. Okay. Anybody else?
So just to be clear, instead of the 2nd and 4th for the month of November, we have one meeting, and it's on the 3rd Wednesday.
Third Wednesday, November 18th.
Thank you.
And the one in December is on, Katrina, I'm sorry.
It is still the 2nd Wednesday of December. We did not change that date. It is, as it went before COVID, it did not conflict with any Victorian Christmases, so we left it.
And
Okay.
we will have a new council member then.
Yes, we will, which is kind of exciting.
That's totally
So-
exciting.
Okay, that's it for announcements. City manager's report.
I do have some things to report on. Just on a few projects that are going on in the city. We had an intertie project and the pond was being cleaned out at the water plant. That project is complete. Bill made a visit down to the National Hotel and they are still making significant progress and they are still trying for the end of the year. We do have Amy. Amy's been at working from home and she is back partially in City Hall. So we're glad to have her back and I think she was happy to be back. So some limited hours in office. She still is doing some work from home to assist with her husband, but I think she'll be increasing her hours as they progress for him transitioning back home. The Atlas tree is over at the Zion Street yard and we are just waiting for whatever from the tree group, whatever artists would like to come pick up wood. And then we've had a citizen volunteer to mill the wood that doesn't get taken right away for projects so that it can be stored properly for future projects. Brian and some city staff are working with the county on an MOU for, I believe Brian said $500,000 in undergrounding, Rule 20A money with the county. So we're working on that. And I believe that the possibility of that going forward to their board is looking like maybe December. So we're working on that. We're also working on permit changes for the wastewater treatment plant. That's a little bit more technical, but that's something that the chief plan operator and Brian are working on right now is some permit changes through the water board. Just as a FYI, we did bring parking enforcement officers back. They have just been giving warnings. As of next week, we will be going into enforcement. Don't forget that on the 10th of November, we'll be having a special meeting at 8 o'clock just to go over the shared services agreement and integration with Grass Valley. I attended—
That's 8 a.m., right?
8 a.m., yes. I attended a merchants meeting with the Chamber of Commerce today. That was really good. We're hoping to get a little bit more participation from the merchants and looking at ways to do that, because we didn't have too many merchants on the call today. But there's a significant list of things that are happening for Halloween that are COVID friendly. And that list can be found on the Chamber website, but we also posted the list of events and activities will be occurring there. It's on the city website, and we posted it to Facebook today. So go ahead and look at that for things to do. We have been informed that there's going to be a peaceful demonstration up at the Rood Center the day after the election. And so because the city is responsible, the police department is responsible for anything that happens outside of the building, we're preparing, the police department is preparing for that and what it might look like. And finally, right now, currently, Larry and other staff members are working on a California OES PSPS grant. So if you remember, we got a grant for $225,000. We were able to fully take care of the wastewater treatment plant. We got the wiring done at Nevada City. However, it ended up being a little bit more expensive than what we thought. So the funds didn't go as far. So we are applying for another grant because we did not end up with a generator yet for City Hall. So the application will be for $236,000 for a generator for City Hall, backup batteries for computers, and backup communications for police and fire. Also, one component of that grant is community. And so what we did, and thank you to Doug, helped out with this. He had mentioned that Sale was struggling a little bit and looking at some of the lights that are on, and then they're just across the street and theirs aren't. So we thought a good community component to add to our grant would be $140,000 for Sale. That would benefit them is looking at wiring and a generator for them. Currently, you will see our officers with the pink patches on, honoring Cancer Awareness Month. And finally, everybody needs to get their ethics and sexual harassment training done. If you cannot find the link that was sent out a while back, and it is an odd link, it didn't come from a staff member, let me know and I will have Gabby resend it out to you. That's it for me.
Great. Thank you. And yeah, I just want to thank everybody that's worked. I mean, I'm actually so amazed with staff and everybody, the things that we actually have gotten done and are getting done in this time of COVID. So, you know, everybody's really been working hard and trying to make adjustments to all of this, Zoom meetings and meeting with the public. So thank you all, and thank Katrina, thank the staff for me.
Will do.
Okay. Okay, so I just am going to say this. I don't even know how to say this, but you guys, we started this meeting at 6:30 today, and it is now 7:21, and I'm calling for an adjournment.
So moved.
All in favor? Thank you, and good night.
Good night, folks. Thanks, everyone.
I lost my battle, Aaron.